My name is Alan Sharp. Uh, Pender and myself, we're brothers, and we own Slaughterhouse. It's been in operation about 40 years, um, and we're in Wilson County, and we process beef and pork, and also some sheep and goats and some wild game.
I'm Pender Sharp. Part of our operation is Sharp Farms, which is a traditional agriculture production operation, and Flower Slaughterhouse has been a great mix to our business model. And I primarily look after the farming operation, and Alan manages the slaughterhouse.
And I'm Sam Brayton. I got acquainted with this crowd about 20 years ago, and we were all a little bit younger than we were are now. So.
Absolutely.
The project has really benefited us greatly. We mainly put in a new cooler, a new cutting room, a new freezer, have a new truck, as well as some other equipment. But it has really increased our beef slaughter and processing. Starting back in January when we first started moving into our new facility, that our grant really helped us. We've increased our beef slaughter and processing between 80 and over 100% in the last 4 months.
It's been pretty amazing what has happened in this industry over the years and how it's evolved. And I think the packing house industry is a little unique in the fact that it's behind the times on technology, the availability of skilled labor to operate. And what the grant enabled us to do at Flower Slaughterhouse was to install more modernized equipment, computer equipment that enables us to get much more production out of the people that we had.
Well, we see a lot of people bringing animals in now. Large majority of what we do here is custom slaughter and processing, and people are learning through word of mouth that they can bring their animals here instead of having to go to the grocery store and buy their meat. They can bring animals here and get a better cut of meat at a cheaper price, and that's really helped a lot of the population.
One of the things that the grant enabled us to do was to start processing inspected cattle. And what I mean by that, instead of our customers just bringing in a cow for their own personal consumption, now they can bring in one that's USDA inspected while we process it, and we can package it and label it, put the weight on it, and they can take that beef back and market it in local farmers markets or direct to their neighbors. We had lots of people in this state that were growing a few cows and they weren't making any money on them. And during the pandemic, that really got bad because live animals lost nearly all their value. Well, by us offering that service now through the benefit of the grant, people can bring that cow here, process him, market it ever how they choose, and make a good tidy profit on that. So the grant not only helped us, but it's helped local beef and hog producers that can market their product in a different way.
Like Pender said, it's not just been the grant only benefited us, but it's benefited the public as well.
Let me tell you a story. Might be worthy or not, but what led up to this? Over the last 40 years, the brightest minds in agriculture have put a lot of emphasis on integrating our livestock industry to huge successes, the envy of the world, that we could produce protein for our population and the world's population, and it's only owned by just a few companies, and the packing houses are huge, but they got the job done. And we took all this for granted until the pandemic showed up. And when the pandemic showed up, we realized that maybe our model wasn't the best model. And as beef packing houses closed, and as Tar Heel, Smithfield Foods at Tar Heel began to slow their production down, suddenly the grocery store shelves were empty. we never thought about a pandemic. Maybe we'll never have to again. But that same supply chain interruption could have happened by a tornado that hit the plant or a natural disaster that knocked them out of electricity for 30 or 60 days. There's all sorts of things that could have happened, and the pandemic brought all that to light. So through the wisdom of the commissioner's office, Troxler's office, the legislature, the governor, Congress approving the CARES money to begin with, and somebody in the commissioner's office saying, well, you know, our packing houses, there's not many of them, but independent packing houses can help fill up some of this gap that we have basically overlooked. And if it hadn't been for them, we'd never had these grants. And I can assure you that small independent packing houses like Slaughterhouse could not buy the technology and the equipment that it takes to move into the 21st century and help fill this supply of protein to our population. But thanks to the grant, we have made huge strides in supplying that protein. Thanks to Commissioner Troxler. He thinks like we think. He's one of us. He has been a part of agriculture all his life, and he understands these situations. And all the people at the Department of Agriculture that jumped in and made these grants happen, created the format and went through the process, and it just got dumped on them, and they made it work.
Amen, right.